Alles gut. Ist gar nichts passiert.
All of his co-workers were gone.
Und unser Erzähler ist auch noch da.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Figuren-Feindeskomitee. Large Room, bei Large Room weiß ich immer noch nicht genau, was das damit gemeint ist. Echt jetzt? Du hast das zugenagelt? Arscherzähler, ey. Was fällt ihm ein?
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud to nobody. He began wildly tearing through papers on... Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk.
Da ist eine Kamera.
That kind of anxiety isn't healthy. So he relaxed for a few moments with some calming New Age music.
Das ist doch toll. Was hat der hier eigentlich so stehen?
Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
Wundervoll. Wundervoll. Ohahaha. Jetzt gucken wir mal, wen wir in diesem Mind-Controlling-Raum kontrollieren können.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Da konnte man... Nee, da gab es nur die eine Option. Aha. Aha, aha. Warum erinnert mich das an X-Men? Naja. Ja!
Aha! You've made it to the bottom of the mind control facility. Welcome! You see, back when the Stanley Parable first launched in 2013, getting to the bottom of the mind control facility was a bug that we simply didn't catch during development. And you all sent us lots of photos of it on Twitter and acted very superior about it. And you're all very, very clever. Good for you. Anyway, when it came time to update the game, we knew that we had to do something about this little goof of ours. So, here you go. New content. You can call it the bottom of the mind control room ending, if that enhances your
absolut aus Versehen, aber schön.
Isn't that what you crave? New content? Always more content, more content, more.
Ja, das habe ich mich auch gerade gefragt, Christian.
I'm here to make it seem like we really covered every nook and cranny of the game, with secrets and Easter eggs. How about this? We wrote a new piece of music just for this section. You won't hear it anywhere else in the game. It's a secret that's just for you. That's how special you
Spiel.
are. We call this track, Good Job You've Made It to the Bottom of the Mind Control Facility. Well done.
Ja, Nimue, lass es dir schmecken.
Jumped on the catwalk. You should have been careful. Should have been careful. It used to be a bug, but now it's an ending.
Mal gucken, wie lange das noch geht.
I believe in you. I believe in your ability to cross this barrier.
Ja, Chili hilft richtig gut gegen Erkältung, das stimmt.
Good job, you did it.
Good job, you did it. Yeah. Ich werde zum absoluten Tänzer, der beste Tänzer der Welt überhaupt immer. Ah, wo sind wir denn jetzt? In unserem Büro. Das ist das Second Digit. Okay, ab jetzt immer drauf achten, wenn wir von vorne anfangen. Alle Rechner angucken.
Oh, Stanley, can you feel it?
Ja.
The broom closet. It wants the bucket.
Ja.
You can feel that, can't you?
Ja.
The aura of jealousy.
Ja.
It's as clear as day. This broom closet believes it deserves the bucket.
Ja.
I can really feel it now. It's a bucket. It belongs in a broom closet. That's what the broom closet is trying to say here. It's supposed to go with the other
Ich wusste,
things.
ich muss...
Good for you,
Das,
Stanley.
irgendwas hat
Don't give
gerufen.
in. Don't hand over the bucket. I know how hard it must be, given the pressure that the broom closet is putting on your shoulders right now, but you have to be strong. This
Stell den einmal da jetzt hin.
This is your companion and lifelong friend.
Wie kann ich den...
Hand it over. Oh no. We're getting into name-calling now, it seems. Is this how low the broom closet has sunk, that it has to resort to this stream of petty insults simply in order to get you to hand over the bucket? Stanley.
Oh, der ist
I
richtig
know
heißer
like this
geworden
broom closet
gerade.
for a variety of reasons, but even this is worse than I had imagined. And wait, now the broom closet has the gall to imply that you and the bucket are not truly deep and lasting friends?
Ja?
That your
Ja?
relationship is purely superficial and convenient?
Ja.
That your life is so banal and meaningless that you'd feel the same sort of kinship towards any inanimate
stell den
object
einmal da
which happened
irgendwo
to lay
hin.
in your path in an even partially enticing manner? Well, I'd never. Go on, Stanley. Lay into it. Really tell the broom closet off for its demeaning comments. Expand on the wide variety of
aber-
experiences you and the bucket have shared together. Go through each of them point by point. Share
Aber-
your journal entries detailing the rich emotional
Nein.
landscape of your feelings
Nein.
for the bucket, as they have changed and evolved over the years. Let
Nein.
him have it.
Der Eimer gehört doch hier hin. Er wohnt hier. Es ist seine Bestimmung, hier zu sein.
Okay, I've got you something which I think will help settle this debate once and for all.
Die
Here we go.
Möglichkeit, einen Eimer...
There. Now it's settled. No more debate, no more discussion.
Aber wenn das da
Take our
drauf
hype
steht,
broom closet with all your meandering philosophical
kann der Eimer ja auch hier
diatribes
stehen.
about the nature of cleaning supplies and their relationship to broom closets in the natural order of things.
stell den da hin jetzt.
All right, I've got a second sticker back here, and I'm going to slap it on as well because I think it's appropriate. You see, I feel that it works because the sticker is also a bucket.
Hä?
That way, if you're ever unsure whether the thing you're holding is a bucket or not, you can look down at this sticker and say to yourself, ah, it's a bucket. There
Bucket.
really is a wide variety of applications for this sticker.
Ja, es ist doch ein Eimer. So, darf ich den jetzt endlich hier hinstellen?
You know what? I could take the name-calling and the dismissal of your kinship with the bucket, but now the broom closet is just giving us the silent treatment. And to be honest, I'm sick of the pettiness on display. You
Aber-
can stay here all you like, but I've had it with this impetulant room of cleaning supplies. Easily the most childish such room I've ever been in. I'll see you outside, and we can get on with the story about you and your bucket.
Aber ich will den Eimer doch gerne hier hinstellen. Ja, Eimer und Besenkammer, es tut mir leid. Ich hätte euch gerne, zumindest für eine Weile, hier eure Zweisamkeit oder Mehrsamkeit, wie auch immer, gelassen. Aber der Erzähler möchte nicht. Toll.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this, but Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck.
Absolut
Was
Zufall.
it the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical
Ja, der Eimer, der hat
explanation.
richtig was drauf, der Eimer. Jo. Ich will wissen, was diese Mind-Flowing-Maschine, Mind-Reading, Mind-Controlling, keine Ahnung, was Maschine ist.
The elevator raced downward, plummeting towards an unknown fate. It would be all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket. Soothing him,
Dass man auch
comforting
nicht springen
him,
kann. Ne?
reassuring that in this darkest
viel
moment of
spannender.
uncertainty, he would be all right. The bucket is here for you, Stanley. Everything will be fine.
Wenn der Eimer für mich da ist, ist alles gut.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility.
Das Witzige ist, man kann jetzt theoretisch alles nochmal machen und die Story ändert sich. Weil es heißt Stanley and the Bucket. Ich drück da jetzt drauf.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves.
Nochmal kann ich da nicht drauf drücken, okay. Es gibt noch ein zurück, theoretisch. Hier sind Arbeitsplätze irgendwie. Kann man das lesen? Employee Observation Protocol. Ich wurde die ganze Zeit beobachtet.
The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock.
Das haben wir schon mal gesehen, weil wir
Everyone in the
standen
office was
schon
being
mal
videotaped,
da oben.
monitored like guinea pigs.
Da oben
The
standen wir
bucket
schon
had
mal.
never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that
Aber da waren
everything would be fine.
nicht so viele gefeuert. Hier sind jetzt ja schon 2 gefeuert. Ich glaube, als wir hier das eine Mal drin waren, war nur einer gefeuert. Aufzug. Aufzüge sind doof. Die Aufzüge verarschen einen hier immer.
Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well? Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do?
Was ist da für grüner
Kinds
Kram
of
in den
things does
Kartons?
a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place? These questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind.
Die leuchten grün, die Kartons. Das scheint nicht richtig.
He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control, never! He squeezed the bucket tighter. His one friend in the entire
Wohin?
world.
Hallo?
At this point, he could trust no one except for the bucket.
Dass das kein Horrorspiel geworden ist, ne? Das ist echt weird.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy or sad or content. Walking,
Mind control
eating,
offline.
working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place.
Alles
And as the
offline.
cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For
Alles
he and the
disabled.
bucket would dismantle the controls for good. Two best
passiert irgendwas
friends,
drin?
Stanley and the bucket, up against the world. They high-fived in a really cool way, and the bucket made a sassy comment about taking down the system.
5. Okay, da steht irgendwie ein bisschen Quellcodes-Gedöns,
When at last they
Input-Gedöns.
came to the source of the room's power, Stanley and the bucket knew it was their obligation to put an end to this horrible... But at the last second, the bucket jumped in and pressed the button to turn on the controls.
Ja.
Stanley gasped in horror. Had this been the bucket's plan all along?
Nee, das
To take over the machine and claim the power for itself? How could the bucket have betrayed him like this?
Warum war das denn
Stanley
jetzt der
was prepared
Eimer?
to throw the bucket away in disgust when suddenly an image appeared upon the enormous screen. Birds. Silly birds. The control buttons became active again.
Wir wollen Schwalben sehen.
Stanley flipped through one video of silly birds after another, and then it dawned on him. This wasn't a mind control facility at all. It was a facility for monitoring and surveilling silly birds
Kann man
all
wieder zurück?
over the
Nee, ne?
world. The mind controls were only a facade to disguise its true intentions. Had the bucket known this all along? Stanley marveled at the metal genius in his hands, the one who had pointed him towards this incredible
Pinguine.
discovery. Stanley and the bucket never found freedom because they spent the rest of their lives here in this place, flipping through live streams of the silliest birds imaginable.
Steht da, wo
Of all the
Leben? Nee, ne?
possible paths his life could have taken, this one was surely the best. And Stanley was happy.
Oh, Kolibriechens. Ich war noch nicht fertig mit den Bildern. Wir nehmen den Eimer auf jeden Fall nicht wieder mit.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it.
Wir haben das Ding jetzt zwar nicht
Perhaps he
ausgeschaltet,
wanted to stop by the
aber
employee lounge
ich möchte
first,
jetzt auch zu
just
der
to admire it.
roten und blauen Tür.
What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration
kommt
for
da
others?
irgendwie hin.
Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do
Das
want
kriegen
to
wir
help
noch
you,
raus.
to show you something beautiful. Look,
Der
let
soll
me
sich
prove
nicht so
it.
aufregen,
Let me
dieser
prove
Erzähler.
that I'm on your side. Give me a chance.
So, und hier kommt jetzt...
Now listen
Ja,
carefully,
siehst
this
du.
is important. Stanley walked.
Aha.
You're getting close now, Stanley. You've nearly gotten all of the Figler Anglines.
Figler Anglines.
And then the first number will equal the second number, and that will be it.
Ja,
We'll be different people by then. Different in the sense that we used to have none of them. And now we have them all. You
Oh, das
can't
wird
go
so
back
toll.
to when you had no Figler Anglines. None of us can.
in diesem Raum waren wir auch noch nie. Hübscher Raum. Gefällt mir. Blaue Tür haben wir eigentlich auch echt durchexorziert. Rote Tür noch nicht.
Oh, thank God you are willing to listen to me. Do you see that I really have wanted you to be
Oder?
happy all this time? The problem is all these choices. The two of us always trying to get somewhere that isn't running and running and running, just the way you're doing right now. Don't you see?
Ui,
it's getting stale?
Hilfe, wo bin ich? Wo muss ich hin? Wird auch in die andere Richtung.
We would both be so much happier if we just stopped.
Nein.
And I think I had a solution. Here, let me show you.
Eine Tür. Nee. Geronimo!
What do we want? What are we looking for?
Das ist hier jetzt wieder sein
Yes. Oh,
Ort
it's
der
beautiful, isn't it? If we
Glückseligkeit.
just stay right here, right in this moment with this place,
Da muss man so oft sterben, damit es weitergeht.
I actually feel happy.
Ja, mir egal. Es geht ja nicht darum, dass er sich
Where you
glücklich fühlt.
Oh no, stay away from those stairs. If you hurt yourself, if you die, the game will reset. We'll lose all of this.
Ja, alles
Please, no,
verlieren.
Stanley, let
Alles
me stay here.
verlieren.
Don't take this from me. Please, Stanley.
Springen!
Oh, thank God. No, what are you doing, Stanley? Please, I'm asking you not to take this away from me.
Du
I
hättest-
go back to what I was before.
Nee.
If you die, we'll both go back. Why are you doing this?
Du hast mir keinen Springknopf gegeben. Ich würde gern einfach hüpfen. Kann ich nicht, also muss ich fliegen. Geht ja.
Stanley, let's go back to the other room.
No.
Can you do that for me?
Gib mir einen Springknopf.
My God, is this really how much you dislike my game? That you'll throw yourself from this platform over and over to get rid of it? You are literally willing to kill yourself to keep me from being happy.
Ich will nur
Am
einen
I reading the
Hüpfknopf.
situation correctly?
Hui.
Or maybe you're just getting a kick out of it. I don't know anymore. I just wanted us to get along. But I guess
Ich will
that
auch nur
was too much to
hüpfen.
ask.
Das darf ich auch nicht.
Looks like you wanted to make a choice after all. Well, this one is yours.
Du tust mir so leid, lieber Erzähler. Darf ich jetzt hüpfen? Ich probiere noch einmal, mit irgendeiner Taste zu springen. Nö, na dann.
Is it over? It's going to restart, isn't it?
What should I
I'm
do?
going back.
Nicht meine Entscheidung gewesen, würde ich sagen.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Ah, nee.
Stanley, we must move on from this broom closet, simply because I have no remaining stickers.
Vic-
If I did, you can guarantee we'd be in here for hours.
Aber wir können,
Alas, no stickers.
den Eimer doch einfach hier hinstellen. Ich darf nicht hüpfen, ich darf den Eimer hier nicht hinstellen. Was darf ich denn? Es ist ganz schön wenig selbstbestimmt, was ich hier so machen darf.
Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down, but Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it the bucket knew all along?
Ja,
Was the
der Eimer.
bucket guiding him? The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens.
Ja.
What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves. For he and the bucket would
Was ist das Spiel
dismantle
jetzt
the
zu Ende, wenn ich
controls
da
for
jetzt auf
good.
Nein drücke?
Two best
Auf
friends,
Aus?
Stanley and the
Nein,
bucket,
oder?
up against the world. They high-fived in a really...
Ups, war das nicht, das war schon so.
Stanley and the bucket waited in blackness. Was it over?
Hehe.
Yes, they had done it. Stanley and the bucket had defeated their greatest and darkest enemy, freed themselves from the tyrannical grip of the evil mind control machine. Freedom was now mere moments away. Excitedly, the two of them began to discuss the kind of life they wanted to live once they stepped through this massive door. The bucket wanted to learn to roller skate. Stanley wanted to sneeze in every country on Earth.
Ich würde eigentlich gerne wieder
Watching a
zurück.
movie, any movie, but then stop it halfway through and begin watching it in reverse from the end. True, it was a simple life they envisioned, but it was one they'd lived together, with one another to lean on, to trust, to support.
Okay.
What?
It's
Wait,
broken.
what was happening?
It's
Why had the door
broken.
stopped? Was Stanley and the bucket not about to be freed?
Ja.
An unbearable silence filled the room, lingering in uncertainty.
Eine
Until finally the
Aussicht.
truth hit Stanley square in the face. This building did not want the bucket to leave. Even the facility itself
Es ist dunkel.
recognized the incredible calming presence of the bucket, needed the soothing warmth of the bucket, would go to any lengths not to part with the bucket. No. Stanley can't leave this place. Not while he has such a precious bucket in his arms. Not while this building has anything to say about it. Stanley realized he would never again leave this very room. But at least he has the bucket. To be trapped eternally in darkness isn't really so bad, Stanley thought to himself.
Nee,
As
mit
long
einem
as I have
Eimer?
my bucket with me,
Also
right?
Dunkelheit
I'll be
und
okay,
Eimer
won't I?
ist super.
Stanley gulped. Very soon now, he was about to find out.
Ja. Ich hab einen Spaß. Jetzt lädt er doch neu, oder wie? Wir haben uns doch so gefreut, dass wir im Dunkeln mit unserem Eimer sitzen. Okay, man darf den Eimer also nicht mitnehmen.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the
man
meeting
da
room,
rüber?
and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Wie kommt man
Standing
da
now in
rüber?
this incredible room, Stanley but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Geht die Tür zu, wenn man da durchgeht? Ja, ne? Ja, ich glaube schon.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't 5 years ago.
So vielleicht. Ha! Boah, das wird sowas von schief gehen. Ich habe keine Füße, auf die ich gucken kann, um zu wissen, ob wir hier auf der richtigen Spur sind.
And there it is, the last Stiggly Wiggly.
Alle!
Savor this moment, Stanley. This is a real accomplishment. This is doing something just for the sake of doing it. Where so many people expect to be rewarded for the most trivial achievements, you've insisted that a job well done is its own reward.
Ja.
I would tell you that I'm proud of you for collecting them all.
Ja,
but that
ich
would be
auch.
like a reward, and we can't have that. So, instead I'll just say, it's done. We're all done here.
Ha.
And now we can go to whatever the hell you were doing before you hunted for figurines.
Das geht dich gar nichts an, was ich davor machen wollte. Kommen wir hier noch weiter runter? Sterben wir, wenn wir da runterhüpfen? Da ist ein Tor offen. Eigentlich müssten wir ja wenigstens versuchen, weiter runterzukommen, oder? Wir können auch erstmal durch dieses Loch da krabbeln. Gucken, wo uns das hinführt. Okay. Aha. Wir sind da runtergefallen.
Stanley had now gotten himself so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. So far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. So far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun.
Haha, er hat sich aufgehangen. Boah. Kassetten.
That it seemed the office had begun. So far off the beaten path. That it seemed the office had begun. So far off the beaten path. That it seemed the office had begun. So far off the beaten path. That it seemed the office had begun. So far off the beaten path. That it seemed the office had begun. So. You didn't think I was actually just a recording, did you? What a silly and trite explanation that would be. All the back and forth between you and me, all the absurd adventures we've been through, and it all turns out I'm just a tape recording?
Yeah.
It was all just in Stanley's head. I bet that's the kind of twist you think is revelatory. I bet each and every time you watch a movie where it turns out all to be in the main character's imagination, you must absolutely bolt off the couch in pure shock at the phenomenal and intricate storytelling. It must be so simple to be you. Life being an unending waterfall of surprises and delights.
Okay.
How much more exciting you must find the world than the rest of us do.
Kann man jetzt hier durch?
Now I've become sad. Look what you've done to me. This is all your fault.
Ist das Schimmel? War das Schimmel? Ist das eklig? Sind wir ja schon wieder hier. Zum Ende ein herzliches Dankeschön von uns beiden fürs Zuschauen. Wir hoffen, es hat genauso viel Spaß gemacht zuzuschauen wie das Aufnehmen und das Streamen.
Lasst gerne einen Kommentar da, drückt den Daumen nach oben und abonniere unseren Kanal.
Genau, den Kanal findest du hier. Die Videos da. Ein paar Empfehlungen. Bis dann.
Vielen Dank fürs Zuschauen.